What's up, you guys? I'm here at SlimXTeamSymmetry, here to give you guys a quick deck profile. Those of you who were on my Facebook, my main Facebook, you guys already saw my post that I would do an Inzektor deck profile if I could get 50 plus likes on my status about posting the deck, and people really wanted to see it, see what I had to say about Inzektors, and I got the likes. So obviously I'm here to do the deck profile for you guys. Before I do, I just want to say a couple things. I want to say that I never thought in a million years I would ever build Inzektors, because I loathed the deck. Beforehand, when I was running Dino Rabbit, my sole purpose in life was to beat every single Inzektor I played, and for the most part I think I beat every single one in competitive play except one. I believe I lost to one in time in YCS Long Beach, but other than that I beat my only Inzektor match at Nationals, and I beat all the other ones in Regionals, and I play tested a lot against the deck just so that I could beat it. I knew Effect Veiler Fiendish Chain would just shut down the deck, so for the longest time I just hated the deck. I didn't understand what people saw in it, and I completely ignored it. And lately I felt that it was kind of unfair, like I've said with a lot of decks, whether it be Dark World, Wind Up, etc., that every deck has the potential to be good. And I think when Billy Break top 8'd with Inzektors, it was like, okay, the deck's still alive. And then you kind of didn't hear about it for a while. And then when Mike Stibbins won Tacoma with it, it gave me the impression that, the deck's still good. Let me see why it's still good, and, it'll help me get better as a player because I'll understand the deck. So I based my deck basically around both of their builds. I kind of changed a couple. I didn't really change anything. I just kind of went with what they had because I have no Inzektor experience. I played the deck. I've done really well with the deck. I had a ridiculous record at school. I played 50 matches, and I was I won 48 of them. I lost to Rabbit, and that was it. I beat everything else, and I was doing stupid combos. I wasn't even doing the OTKs and stuff, so I feel that was kind of interesting. But I'm here to show you guys the build I was using. I originally was using Carcards, and then I'll explain later. I took them out, and I'll give you my reason why, because I know a lot of people would like Carcard in the deck. Mike Stibbins ran it, Billy Break didn't run it, and the OCG is starting to cut it from their Inzektor deck, so it kind of gave me the idea that I didn't need it. But I'll explain it later. So let's just get into it. Of course, on the Nationals mat with Inzektors, so it's appropriate. Though you gotta run 3 Centipede. This card, like Billy said in his article in his deck profile, is the heart of the deck. This card, you need to protect this card. You need this card to live because it does so much. It gets you any card you need, and it just works so well with all the other monsters in the deck. So, very standard. Like he said, if this was at 1 and Dragonfly was at 3, the deck would be dead because you couldn't search the stuff you need, and all you could do is special summon if you had only 1 Centipede and they got rid of it. You had no other out. So, Centipede's amazing. I do run the 3 Ladybug. I like Ladybug because I like Centipede Ladybug turn 1 to search Hornet, to search whatever. And I like Ladybug because you can bump the level up to 5 and make your rank 5s, or make it a level 4 and make your level 4s. So, rank 4s. So I feel that this card's really good. It adds a lot of synergy. And you can do some stupid combos with Ladybug too, so I like it. And then, of course, the 1 Dragonfly, the 1 Hornet, and the 1 Gigamantis. So people told me to run multiple Gigamantis, but since I'm so unfamiliar with the deck, I just wanted to stick with 1 because I didn't want to confuse myself. And, I saw a lot of just Inzektor players were only running 1, so I felt, why not just, do what they do. What's ironic is that I pulled the majority of these cards in my tins and my tins at YCS Tacoma, the ones that were opened after the event. So it told me, it's a sign, I'll make Inzektor, so I made it anyway. And then my teammate hooked me up with Hornet, Gigamantis, and some other cool cards, so I was able to build the deck. So yeah, so that's why I have them. So you run the standard 9 Inzektor monsters. You guys already know what they do. They're busted. I still ran the 2 Card Trooper. I was really iffy on this card because I felt that you gamble a lot with Card Trooper. In Chaos Dragons, it wasn't so much a gamble, unless you milled your spells. But I felt that in this deck, since you don't run 30 monsters, that you could mill the wrong cards. But at the same time, I thought of the pros and the cons. And the pros were that it would go to 1900, it could possibly dump a Hornet or a Ladybug. And if it's destroyed, I draw a card. It had good synergy with Call of the Haunted, so I figured that the pros outweighed the cons, and that's why I left them in here. They're really good. Plus, they're sparkly rare from Battle Pack, so I like them. I went really low rarity on this deck, by the way. I didn't put any of my high rarity stuff since it's just an extra deck. I didn't run Tour Guide. I ran 2 Tomato. Billy ran 2 Tomato. And the reason why I chose Tomato over Tour Guide is I noticed I was always drawing Tour Guide, or Tour Guide Sangan, and then the other Tour Guide was dead in the deck. And I thought to myself, all it really does is make Leviair or a level 3 or something, or brings out Sangan. And I'd rather have a better way of doing that. Thunder King can just negate my my tour guide, my tour guide XYZ summon, Valor can just, you know, hit tour guide if they're not already hitting the Inzektors. Like, if you don't open with something, I'd rather just set this, you know, take my chances. Like, I know decks pop it, like Water pop stuff, Dark World pop stuff, Mirror Match pop stuff, but I felt that this was more beneficial because it can search Sangan, it can search Dragonfly, Ladybug, whatever you need, like, it can search it. So I felt that this card was more stable. Also, with Dark Arm Dragon, you can have like an instant level 3 darks to go tomato, tomato, Sangan, tomato, tomato, Dragonfly, whatever. Usually it's Sangan, then you search what you need, and then you already have 3 darks in the grave. So I felt that this was just better in the long run, and through testing I've liked it a lot more than Tour Guide, and of course Sangan, like, it searches everything. The one Dark Arm, this card is nuts. Like, I haven't used Dark Arm this much since Teledad. Like, really, like, I always draw this. I always draw it. I always drop it. This card is ridiculous. You can do so many crazy combos. You can have 4 darks in the grave, summon a Centipede, summon a Dragonfly, whatever, get one out, then drop Dark Arm. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, this card is a really sacky card in the deck. It just does so much. It just beats face, too. So, I like this card. Like, I would not run Inzektors without it. And then just to end the monsters, I ran 2 Max C and 2 Valor like Billy did, because I noticed I need to be able to stop stuff or, like, gain some draws off stuff, and, like, against Windup, like, Windup can go Shockmaster, and they can call Monster Effects or whatever, and they can just have outs to my cards. I felt that if I had Max C and Valors, like, I could stop a lot of stuff. It's good against Dino Rabbit, mostly Valor for the Rabbit and stuff. Like, I can get around stuff, because Dino Rabbit's obviously the hardest match, especially since they're running Macro Rabbit, so these cards could be dead, but they're good, you know, nonetheless. If people were wondering, why didn't I run Karkar-D? I originally was running Karkar-D, and I liked it for the longest time, but then I started to realize that it's good if I have it turn 1. Later in the game, it's not that good, because if you're top decking and you top deck a Karkar-D with no line of defense, literally you'll draw your 2 cards. You don't run Gore, so you draw your 2 cards, and then you're kind of just left at bay. Like, if you didn't draw a Valor or something to stop their effect, like, you really are kind of in trouble. So I felt that, like, for the monster lineup, I just wanted, like, the most optimal cards, and I felt that hand traps were good. And I talked to a lot of people about the deck, and, like, I didn't want to have dead cards. I didn't want that much stuff to get Valored. Like, if they're going to Valor my Inzektors, they're going to Valor my Inzektors, like, obviously, but I didn't want them to Valor Tour Guide, so that's what the tomatoes were for. Like, they'd never Valor Trooper, so I felt that these were safe. Plus, Karkar-D can get Valored, and, like, it just sucks as an 800 that just sits there, so I felt that this monster lineup was good. I think it's identical to Billy's lineup. It is identical to Billy's lineup, and I think that Billy's lineup was just better. Like, I liked his monster lineup better, and I liked his reasoning for everything. So that's it for the monsters. I think it's 19 monsters. Yeah, 19 monsters. Onto the spells. 2 sword. This card's really good. Like, I like this card. I like going turn 1 Centipede, like Ladybug, and then equipping this so that if they try to kill the Centipede, like, it's at 24, I can just get the Centipede back. There's so much synergy with this, Hornet, Gigamantis. You guys already know, like, I don't need to explain it, but this card's really good. I didn't want 3 because it's too clumpy. I didn't want 1 because it's too little, so 2 was perfect. 2 Duality. Consistency works really well with the deck. You don't special a lot since you have only 1 Dragonfly. Plus, you're not running Tour Guide, so you can, like, Duality into a Sangan, Duality into a Valor, whatever you need, and it helps. Like, I like them. It helps get to your pieces. And then the standard Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy. I run 1 Book. A lot of people don't like Book, but I think Book's versatile. Like, against Rabbit, against Tour Guide and stuff like that, like, you can book their stuff. You can get around stuff. Like, they go Guaiba, because Guaiba's a real problem for this deck. You can just book the Guaiba. So these cards are really good. 1 Foolish. I like Foolish because I like opening. If I don't open that well, like, I like Foolishing Ladybug with Centipede, or if I already have the Hornet in hand, or Foolishing the Hornet, like, whenever I need to. It's like, it's just a faster way to Hornet. And 3 MST. This card, I didn't realize how good this card was, like, in the deck, because, like I said, I'm an Inzektor noob, so I didn't know that, you know, you just MST your own shit, and, like, you just get so many pluses. So this card is, like, ridiculous in the deck. It's one of the few decks you can run 3 in with, like, and it has, like, multiple purposes. Like, if it isn't hitting your opponent's cards, it's hitting your cards, and you're plussing off it, so really, really good. So that's it for the spells. On to the traps. I had to go with Mike Stibbins' thing. The whole theory behind Threatening Roar is ridiculous. This card is just bullshit. Plus, they're DT. Plus, I wanted to run them. This card literally just, I don't know, like, I can't really explain it. Like, if you have this in Centipede with a Hornet, like, you win. Like, there's nothing they can do. Like, you chain this, they can't destroy your monster, like, unless they use a 1-for-1 removal or something. But you have this to save your monsters, and you just win because of it. You stall your opponent out. All you need is 1 extra turn to get the Hornet off, and you win because of it. That's why this card is just a must in the deck. I also went with the 3 Call of the Haunted, like Billy and everyone else does. This card, there's so much synergy with it, because you can go on Card Trooper, on Sangan, on you know, you can call back your Dragonfly, call back your Centipede, call back whatever you need, and you win because of it. Like I said with T-Roy, you win because of this card. Like, if you know they're going to kill your monster at the end phase, you know, call it back, and then you're in winning position. Because then, what I love is that, if I know they have Veiler, I'll call the Honda back a Centipede, activate its effect. If I have another Inzektor in hand, activate its effect, see if they'll negate it, and then I'll summon again. If, like, your Veiler's gone, you can't hit my main card, and it just works out. Like, there's so many benefits to it, so I really like the card. And also, like, it doesn't happen a lot, but when these are dead, like when they're dead when you XYZ summon, you can just Hornet, pop this, when it's equipped to a Inzektor, and like it'll go to the grave and it'll clear up your back row, and you can just get your search or your special off of it. So it had a lot of purposes. And then just the 3 Solemns, because I don't know, like, I need to stop, like, problem cards like Lagia, Dolka, and Solemn Judgment, just like when you're in a tight bind and like you need an out, that's your out. So that's it for the deck. It's 40 cards. Let me know what you guys think of the main deck. I said I based it on Billy and Mike Stibbins decks. Like I said, I'm not an Inzektor like expert at all. Like, I barely know anything about the deck, but this was the best build I can come up with. Like, I went through OCG websites, I went through everything just to build it, so I hope it was good. Extra deck, I guess. Like, this is what I have right now. 2 Zen mains, because there's Zen mains, they save your ass, like, literally. I went with 2 Leviathan because I noticed I use this a lot more than I thought I would. Like, it's so easy to bring out like a Centipede and bring out other stuff and then overlay and then use it to, you know, detach, have the 3rd Dark for Dark Arm, have Call of the Haunted plays, have Gigamantis sword combos. Like, there's so many things this card does. I just really like it. Only 1 Leviair. I was going to run 2, but 2 reasons. A, I couldn't find one. A second one, because I wanted them to match. I didn't want to reprint. So, 1 Leviair. It worked fine. Like, I actually don't make it as much as I thought it would. Like, my monsters do not get banished that much. Like, I'll use it with Dark Arm and then use this. So, I mean, it does have its benefits, but I felt that I only needed 1 for the time being. Plus, Mike Stibbins only ran 1, so I felt that there's a reason behind it. 1 Acid Golem, 1 Tempo for the rest of the 3s. They're just really good. And, you know, you would think without Tour Guide, you know, how do you make these? Well, all your Inzektors are like level 3, so they're really easy to make. I ran 2 level 4s because, I don't know, I felt that you have the ability to Ladybug your Centipede to make it a 4 or a 5, so I figured, you know, why not? Instead of a 2nd Leviair and like a 2nd Golem or something, I'd rather have like more versatile cards. So the 4s I put in a Maestroke because this card can like save your ass when you're in trouble, like against some monsters. Like, you can book their monster, it has a big defense at 23, and like it can survive, so you can work really, you have a lot of plays with this card. Like, I like this card. Of course, I had to run Pappy. Like, people just don't understand how much I love this card. This card, everyone says Blackcorn is better. Bullshit. Like, I know Blackcorn's good, but Pappy is a fucking boss. Like, you cannot deny that Pappy is just an amazing card. So I love Pappy. I'll always try and run Pappy in like every deck I run. Plus, like, I don't know, like, this card really just does win games. Like, people just don't understand. You get around Reapers, you get around Marshmallows, you get around like the most pesky shit. You tie with Gores. I mean, you can't get better than that. Pappy just like puts in work, and I just love Pappy. So don't hate me for putting in Pappy. I had to run it. It's my card. I don't care. On to the rank 5s. I want to Exobeetle. This card is ridiculous. I did not know what this card did till like 4 days ago, because like, I needed one, I got one, and I was like, okay, I'll run it whenever. And I actually made it. I was like, holy crap, this thing's like a Relinquish. Like, it just takes the opponent's monster. I was like, this card is really good. I really do like this card. People don't like this card because it's weak, but, like, it starts at 800, and it gains half the original attack. So, like, if you take, like, a BLS, like, this sucker goes up to 23. Like, I mean, that's not a lot, but who cares? You took their monster. Like, it's definitely a plus on the deck. 1 Crimson Shadow, Armor Ninja. This thing's amazing. This thing's like a wall that just like doesn't die. I like this card. You make all these rank 5s, you know, with Ladybug on Centipede, Ladybug on Dragonfly, whatever. And then Tyrus and Adrius, because they're good. I usually never really make them, but I actually make Adrius more than Tyrus, because Adrius, it has that popping ability. So the ability to get around a BLS is really, really good. Like, I mean, granted, you can make Tyrus, but then you can't really attack because you can't get past it, so you have to wait till the end phase to pop it. So I just think Adrius is better in that sense, so that's why I ran Adrius. And then 1 Gaia Charger for whenever I use up the rank 5s, because it happens, and this card just does piercing damage, kills a Reaper, kills weak stuff. It just, like, it pierces for days, so I like this card. And then I ran 1 Daigusto Phoenix. The reason being I put this in here, 2 reasons. A, I got one, and when I got one, I was really happy, so I was like, I need to run this just because it's cool. Plus, like, I know it doesn't seem like very plausible, but you do have ladybugs, and believe it or not, I've had plays where I've had double call the Haunted down. I called them both back. My opponent was at 25, and I just overlaid, and I went Dagusto Phoenix, and I'm like, detach, attack, game. And it was like, that's so stupid. It like stole a win, but I was like, you have the situations where it might happen. Like, everyone say run a gotchi, they're probably right, but I mean, Dagusto Phoenix is just so cool. I mean, it's just like the nuts. I like this card. This is an OTK card, so I mean, anything you can do to win the game faster, I think is better. So yeah, so that's main deck. And then here's some things that I'd side deck. I'm still working on side deck. Like, I'm just still like trying to figure out the perfect build. Like, if I do want to run this deck at locals or something, I want to have like the best side deck and other stuff possible. So Raikos are obvious. Dino Rabbit. They're good against macro defense, mostly macro. Skill drain, well, not skill drain, but macro. Macro really hurts this stuff. Another Veiler for the mirror match and windups. Of course, the best card they ever cited is like 3 Messenger apiece. This card is like ridiculous. Like, so good against Dino Rabbit, so good against other decks. I don't use it against Chaos Dragons because they can just Lila pop it. So I like this card. It's really good. And then 3D Fissure because, like, I mean, so many decks revolve around the graveyard, mostly water, so I feel that D-Fissure just gives you that added plus. I think Inzektors actually have a really good water matchup, just for the fact that, I mean, you can pop their stuff, you can pop their Abyss Sphere, they can special Megalo, and you can just pop it again, so you just have ways around this. Plus, if you have this, they're like, fuck. So this plus Inzektors is game, basically, in my opinion. Goes in matches for windups mostly. You can use it against Rabbit too, it's not that bad. And then 2 Decree. I would have more side deck stuff, but this is all I had on me today. But Royal Decree is for decks like Macro Rabbit, decks like Chain Burn, Final Countdown, Exodia, all these troll decks, like, they happen, so you have to be prepared. Plus, I feel unopposed when I have this. Like, literally, I feel so unopposed. Literally, if you have these 2 cards face up, you win. Like, there's no way that they're getting around anything. They can't hand trap you, and they can't activate traps, so they're dead, basically. The only other things I would add in here, most likely, would be level limit area Bs for Chaos Dragons and Heroes, and Soul Drain, because Soul Drain is really good against Dark World and water. Now, Dark World I don't think has that great a matchup. However, if they deck dev you, it sucks if you don't have Call of the Haunted, so that's one thing. The one thing, though, that's amazing is that, thank God, this has an extra 100 attack. This gets around fucking deck dev, so this card is really good. I would even side deck dev, like, no lie, I would side deck dev in, because you can have the sword or whatever, you can make an Adrius, you can make a X-Beetle uses effect, like, you can do a lot of stuff with deck dev, so I feel that could also be another side deck card. But yeah, that's my take on Inzektors, you guys. There's no originality here, because, like I said, I barely know anything about Inzektors, but I feel that this was the best build I can come up with, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you like the build? Do you not like the build? Do you think Card D is needed? I mean, I'll take any and all suggestions just to help me make this deck better, because I actually do like this deck, and I kind of really do want to play this deck. I never thought I'd want to, but I really do enjoy this deck. So, I mean, let me know what your thoughts below. You know, thumbs up the video, 150, 200 plus likes. I'll do more deck profiles. I have agents. I have a lot of other decks. I have like every deck in the format minus water, so I can pretty much build anything. So let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll bring it to you in the next video. So thumbs up for the video, and yeah, thumbs up for the mat, because yeah, Inzektor deck profile and Inzektor mat is pretty boss. That's all I gotta say. Because like, if you look at it, you can just put them all in their corners, like Centipede's down here. Oh, they don't have Ladybug on here because Ladybug like wasn't out, but you have Dragonfly up here, you have Hornet here, and you have Giga Mantis down here. So the four quadrants belong to the Inzektor. So I think that's pretty cool when you think about it. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. So yeah, so that's all I gotta say, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and just leave me all your feedback, comments, and thoughts below, and I really appreciate it. So that's all I gotta say, you guys. Thank you for watching.